Hey guys, JJ back here. It's time to give you another free play for tomorrow, Wednesday, April 10th. Game's going to be Tigers versus Indians. Seeing the line at right now, Indians road favorite minus 140, totals 7.5. Bauer against Boyd. Okay, so we grabbed a few wins yesterday, or yeah, yesterday with the Braves as a live dog versus the Rockies at plus 125. And by the way, I mentioned to you guys that I felt like however that Dodger game went was going to impact how that line went. So that's why I bet it earlier during that Dodger game where I got Braves at plus 125 because after the Dodgers bitch slapped them, that line just completely sunk down. And I think it ended up closing at like, you know, almost at like minus 105 or something like that because the Rockies are dealing with a lot of injuries, as I said in that video. So I was glad we got that dog price and we were able to cash it. I also gave that Culver under 17.5, even despite overtime in the national championship game or NCAA championship game. That's under still hit. And what a game from Virginia, by the way. Pops was real happy with that. Obviously, as you guys know, big Virginia fans in these woods. And I'll tell you what, all these cucks that said that Texas Tech's going to blow them out, and it's so funny to me that consistently sports bettors, especially novice ones or naive ones, recreational ones, how they'll consistently lose money in those big games, and yet they'll still continue to preach out the next one why this team's going to blow this team out, and they just sound ridiculous. Like I said, you don't see that from me. I don't speak like that. We look for value in numbers here. That's why in that Virginia video, I didn't give you a pick. My dad was heavily invested in Virginia from his futures, but I mean, like myself, I didn't give you a pick on that side. I mean, it was a coin flip, with the spread, a coin flip. Look how the game ended. I mean, overtime, two defensive teams. The game ends in the 70s with overtime or high 70s and overtime. So just complete randomness. But I did give you a prop that I liked from that game, and that's going to be always the focal point of this channel, always pointing you guys in the right direction. Now, the Braves win brings our MLB plays given out on this channel up to 6-1. That includes the Diamondbacks play from Saturday as well. I have a play here that I really like. Actually, the play I would have liked the most would have been just rolling the Braves again tomorrow, but not sure if you've heard. I'm always on key with the weather. There's going to be some type of monsoon or blizzard shit that hits Colorado tomorrow. Folks in Colorado are probably shopping right now for that bread, milk, and water. You ever notice that? Like anytime there's ever some type of like minor snowstorm or minor blizzard where you get a few inches of snow or a few extra inches of rain, everyone flocks to the grocery stores for that, milk, bread, and water as if like it's an apocalypse coming or some type of rapture where like, they need to like guard up the house and they're not gonna be able to leave the house for weeks. It's crazy how people just just assume everything's going to become immobilized because a little bit of heavy rain or a little bit of snow. But all in all, I don't understand it, and I probably never will. But okay, so here's the play for tomorrow: Cleveland versus Detroit. Again, Cleveland's minus 140. The total right now, I'm seeing it at under. I mean, under. I'm seeing it at 7.5. Minus 115. So here's the play. It's going to be under 7.5 here. I'm going to start this with my typical weather report. It will be chilly again for a Cleveland game, even though this one's in Detroit, but sub 40 degree temperature. Now, Bauer has proven he can land his darts in cold weather. It won't be windy, but still chilly nonetheless. Matthew Boyd's a lefty, and what I know from Cleveland when they faced Rodon versus the White Sox, who was a lefty as well, that this Cleveland lineup, they platoon a bunch of guys versus a lefty, and it's barely double A worthy. So the whole lineup looks like a mess on the Cleveland side. Now, obviously, Bauer's had a hot start to the year. I think everybody would have somewhat have expected that. He gets sort of a gift here against Detroit. They have the second worst batting average in baseball. You know who's right behind them in that lowest average? That would be the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland's also the sixth worst in baseball versus left-handed pitching with a whopping 0 home runs and 0 triples. In 73 at-bats versus left-handed pitching. That lands them at number 2 worst in slugging percentage versus left-handed pitching. What we have here is simple. It's a value play. Under 7.5 runs. I'm seeing it at minus 115, so a little extra juice, but it's worth it. You have Detroit here going up against one of the American League's best pitchings, or best arms in Bauer on a cold early afternoon. You have Cleveland going up against a left-handed pitcher who they've shown no power against thus far, as I mentioned, in 73 total at-bats. This has the makings of a true pitcher's duel. Now, how does this game go over, you may be asking? Well, it does if if either of these pitchers begins to lose control. And as I've stated in baseball before, when you bet an under and the total is typically lower than your average, you could have a disaster inning where it really impacts the entire total. But either way, I like these pitchers to really stay on command and pitch well in this one here. Now, Matt Boyd's K numbers have been ridiculous to start the year. It's more than double his numbers last year per nine. But I do expect regression to come. But for the most part, both of these pitchers have been really locked in and look really great early on. They're going up against two teams really struggling with the bats in a cold early afternoon. So again, the play here is under 7.5 Cleveland versus Detroit. I like the first half even more, but I've had some issues where I post the first half videos at night, and by the time the morning comes, and you guys see the videos, because either you're jerking off all night or whatever the fuck you're doing. When these videos come on, you should be like just ready to go. Like boom, the phone goes off, you're watching them, and you're betting them because we've been giving you favorable plays. I mean, that's my little seller's pitch, but no, for the most part, giving you favorable numbers, which is what we do, and I give you them early. So I'd like you to bet them early. But again, the first halves I've been giving you. By the time you watch the video, the line's already gone. So ultimately, I do like the first half more. I'm seeing it right now under 4 at 1.917 American odds on Pinnacle, which is basically the equivalent of about -110. But I do expect this to move down by the time you watch this. I would not bet both the first half and game. Don't assume I like both because that practically makes this a 2-unit play, which 2 units, as you guys know, is not really my thing. Bet one or the other. But again, I prefer the first half. But I have no issues with the total here under 7.5. I do think both these teams will struggle for most of the game. But again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate the loyalty to the channel. Please comment below if there's any games you'd like. I think I have another game for you that I'm going to give out as well tonight that I really like, so I'm going to post that probably right after this one. And again, please subscribe to the channel if you're not. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, and definitely look forward to the next one. Thanks, guys.